everyone, it's Claire here. I'm doing a summary of the new moon in Leo, which is for today, 28th of July. First of all, I looked at Bracha Goldsmith, and she talked about it being fire and fixed sign, about creative passion, and not really moving. It's something which is going to be quite like solid. So the sun moon in Leo, which is a sign of love, romance, heart energy, and Jupiter magnifies it and it inspires inspiration. And it's developing the brain, like it's along the lines of Aries, and about learning to be independent. So, not about relying on the state or government. And it's about sort of how can we be more independent, and others are attracted to that. So if we are independent. So Uranus, Mars, and the North Node around the 31st of July as well, and 1st of August, are in Taurus. And apparently it's a massive conjunction of great importance and significance because it hasn't happened for 2,500 years. And that was the last time it happened. I think Alexander the Great was around at that point. So Taurus is about the body, and Uranus is about technology, and Mars is about upgrading physical body. So she sort of talked about a lot of nature things being louder, bigger, like the moon looks bigger. I don't know about this really, but it's what she thought. Bees are louder, birds are more significant, louder, stronger. But also that technology changes and it's going to be extremely miniature, and they're doing stuff with tiny chips. So there's great progress in huge leaps and bounds. And to help sort of people, maybe with paralysis, maybe with brain damage, there's going to be some enormous improvements in that. But she talks about nefarious technology being introduced. So we need to decide what we accept. So do we want to be part of that or don't we? Is it an experiment that we want to be part of? So she's, I think, alluding to possibly microchips being inserted and things like that. Then talking a bit about survival with food, water, housing and energy. And there's a lot going on there. And I've spoken about this in the past in other videos, which I formulated in a similar way. But the Dutch farmers are now rebelling massively, and Sri Lanka, there's been the rebellion. Food is key. The food chains are being disrupted even, sorry. And there are nutritious changes and a sort of decentralization feeling. So people are coming to the conclusion that we are in a corrupt society. She was talking about the banks printing money, and in 1979 President Nixon took the USA off the gold standard, so there was no backing for the pound, so there's like instability there. And she's talking about new blockchains with integrity taking over, so like a new, more fundamental and better system. But in the meantime, there may be difficulties like riots to do with food, rebellions, people creating new free things, which is going to probably come into being a lot more with the way forward, because people have just had enough. I mean, you can see in the UK that the bills are mounting. I just can't get my head around, like some days it's this, some days it's that amount. And you just think, wow, how can people survive? So, but with chaos, as she says, it brings the opportunity to change. And Taurus is really strong. It's the bull. It builds strength. And she talked about already, which I've been talking about maybe for a year or more as well, having 3 to 6 months of something which you use quite a lot of, like rice, oats, flour, and water supplies as well, just in case. Maybe because of short interruptions, and maybe short interruptions as well on the internet. So they aren't going to be long-lived, but we've kind of known about this coming for a while. And also talking about working with the scientists, and Mercury trine with Chiron. So much about healing and seeing other people's perspective and respecting people's views. And she quoted Edison, he who I believe discovered the light bulb, invented the light bulb and so on, and says, when you have exhausted all the possibilities, you have not, which sums it up. So we are exhausted from the pandemic, some of the things that have happened since, but we have to keep going. And we keep standing up for what we think is right. So Leo, going back to Leo and the new moon, is about the opening of the heart and shining our light, shining our personal light and having that strength. So Bracha's amazing. I do enjoy her summaries because they're short as well. Then we're on to Pam Gregory, who is just like a 150-year-old Buddhist monk or something, but in a middle-aged lady's body. So she talked about the triple conjunction, Mars, Uranus, North Node, a huge peak developing. And we can sort of begin to feel that now. And North Node, as I've said in the past, is about the future. And that 18 degrees of Taurus, there's an 84-year cycle. So some possible radical changes are going to happen. And she mentioned, I found this interesting because I'm one of the star signs, the fixed signs might need to change a bit unexpectedly. Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, for example. And if we don't change in a certain way, then maybe if we don't change internally, then maybe something happens externally to make us change. So she was saying, well, that's what's in the stars. So it'll happen come hell or high water. So just watch out for that. Leo, Scorpios, Aquarius. And it's through October, so that the massive conjunction between Mars, Uranus and North Node really peaks. And she thinks that's going to be a massive month. And then you've got Saturn, Aquarius, Uranus, Taurus around October, the big on the past versus the future, centralization versus decentralization, freedom and revolutions, and like on the micro and the macro maybe as well. And Uranus is a lot about what have we outgrown. So we really need to put our minds to that. What have we outgrown? What can we do without? And about a higher state of being. And Uranus stays with Taurus till 2026. So Taurus is about safety, food, farming. Taurus is a bull, so cattle. And Uranus is about revolution. And so she mentioned the farmers in Netherlands rebelling, something to do with nitrogen. And they may need to sell their farms. So they've just rebelled. There's a new policy coming in, probably, anti stuff they do. So they've just said, no, we're not having it. And also Taurus can be banking, economy, and that's volatile as well. And 31st of July, 1st of August, that is when this volatility and eruptive energy happens. But we'll begin to feel that now and feel it right through till mid-August. And also now I got something visually, which I don't get that often, but when I was hearing that or writing it down, I saw something. It was like energy moving very fast. And that means it will happen very fast. So some big changes. She mentioned Mars, Uranus, and also digital development, crypto, central versus decentral, and there's stuff going on with currency. I haven't kept up with it all, and something very quick happening with that. So I got that as a heads up myself. Now, Uranus, freedom, truth, awakening, galactic energy, truth coming to light, and using our own discernment will be important. Though there'll be a shake-up and acceleration of breaking the old systems down, and possible even seismic tectonic plates activity, and disruption, volatility with Earth movements. So, and also even new information from other galaxies. I was on a camping trip last week, and I don't want to sort of alarm anyone, but I actually did see a UFO really clearly. It just was very quick, and it hovered and did a maneuver, and then it vanished. But it was a little white triangle one. It wasn't big. It was at the height of a small aircraft and roughly the size of that as well. It was unmistakable. So interesting. So there's galactic stuff going on. And the North Node is about the future and Uranus, and it's about quantum jumps, taking understanding and going with it very fast. And also she mentioned, like, geographically, she tends to look at the geographies involved. And she mentioned that there's sort of focus on west and southern, I think, USA, Mexico, eastern states of the USA, China, Thailand, possibly something to do with government action, or and these areas may be coming into the news. And also stuff about new healing and technology. And then the 17th talks about, oh, sorry, that's going in the past, so I'll probably skip talking about that actually. And then she talked about on the 21st, which is also in the past, but Aries with the, which is a street fighter, the sister of Mars, looks at inequality, looks at social inclusion, a real clash with government around then onwards, really. So, and that's important. And then New Moon Leo, 28th, that's tonight, 6:45 p.m. UK time. She talked about fixed energy, Saturn, Mars, Uranus, Mercury, Sun, all, well, those planets anyway, all fixed. And that means kind of greater power and tenacity for our beliefs. And we may feel at cross purposes from others. So it will possibly highlight that. So just be aware. She talked about Saturn, Leo, Aquarius, etc. Shocking truth. Saturn opposes Mercury. So keeping a lid on truths emerging, but insights and downloads and things happening quickly, but positive, like for the good, really. And Ceres in Leo, so that Ceres is to do with harvest, that god, agriculture, disruption in the food she mentioned as well. So same information about food and Taurus linking in with that, and Pam mentions Ceres as well. And also Leo is beautiful, fixed, fire, social, upbeat, expressing our unique essence, creative, flair, drama. Jupiter expands that as well. And she talked about, she went off slightly at a tangent, but talked about electromagnetic field is 5,000 times greater than the brain for the heart, and also thousands of neurons in the heart. And it's got like its own emotional intelligence. It's almost like, you know, a brain, but with emotional intelligence, and feeling love, joy, peace, and that we can infect others with that. So if we kind of go into our hearts and think through our hearts more than, if you like, the brain side of it, drop into the heart, breathe, lowers cortisol if you're breathing deeply, alleviates stress, and it relaxes us. And okay, like the rest of the world at the moment may be incoherent, a bit chaotic, to say the least, but we can stay in our own centered way, calm. And Jupiter is about optimism, it's visionary, it's there to help us, it's stationary to help at this moment, and links with heart and love expansion. And Jupiter is in Aries, and she talked about Aries and Leo being about sovereignty. So Aries is I am, and Leo is I let my light shine for everyone to see. And Aries is the warrior, the hero, the strength in your own power. So it's about living in our time, in our own timeline. So going centered, going into your own timeline. You do not have to buy into all the drama around you. She talked about anything not of love will fall away, and many people will reevaluate their beliefs now. And it's like kind of forming a holographic bubble, and it is about what New Earth is about. So it's a huge time of change. We're dropping inwards, not out. And she talks about stay on your eagle's perch so that you can view what's going on and set the new intention that you want to, you know, what you want. Set that new intention for tonight, if you like, with the new moon in Leo. And then I'm on to Tania Gabrielle, who's that lovely American lady who is also a numerology expert. She talked about tonight, she said, let's see, 6:55 p.m. and is the new moon. And she mentioned like it's the 2 5s, and that the 5 is quite important. She talked about Leo rules the 5th house as well, and about it being romance, fun, childlike, royal, and the heart, an awakening to love, and double trine Jupiter in Aries, so lots of fire. Jupiter in Aries, Leo, new beginnings, and lighting the fire internally. So Mercury opposing Saturn and T-squared conjunction Mars and Uranus and North Node. You mentioned that big conjunction, 31st of July and 1st of August. Same, she said 2,500 years ago, so at 300 BC was the last time it happened. So, and the North Node is about the future. So it's very fast, it's disruptive. It means the old paradigms fall away and we emerge from a dream. So strong, powerful conversations, if you like. And what did she say else? Mercury comes in and Jupiter, joy, happiness, even laughter, and more humor is needed. And Leo is ruled by the sun. So, and it shines that light and it gets rid of corruption and illusion as well. So, and freedom, we've got now freedom coming. So, and since the 80s, more have wanted to serve rather than be in servitude. So a good idea to look at how employers do help others or the planet as well, because there's been a lot of selfishness over, certain times before this. And look at who is at the helm. Look at, earth events. What food do we eat? What materials do we use in the home? Are there fumes? Is there harmony? Are we self-aware with what we're using? And breaking through corruption, etc. Mercury and Mars, the passion of Mars, will help us do that. And in October, the new moon activates and cleanses. She talked about this new moon activating and cleansing and newer healthy ways. So, and she talked about that 5 being like 5 is like kind of on a rocker and it's front and back. And she'd said the date like 7, 28, 20, 22 adds up to 23, which means that number apparently means royal star, the lion number, which is for courage. And cœur, C-O-U-R, is love in French. So you are love and we are one with the source, and there's a divine connection. And to wake up to love and share that and go within the heart, meditate, walk, talk to your guides if you can hear them. We awaken and demonstrate love in action. And Venus is sextile to Mars, so very much love, passion, fire. Jupiter in Aries, so feel the royal star of the lion, creative, shine your light, more playfulness, appreciate who you are, and enjoy the happy new moon in Leo. So that's a big summary. And I've also got that we're doing what's it called? Lamas, that's it. The Lamas celebration comes through around 1st, 2nd of August. So that's on the Wheel of the Year. I'll put a summary together for that one, I think. So hope you enjoyed that and see you on the next video. Have a great new moon in Leo. Bye.